What's up, guys? Jimmy with you, Time of Steel. So just when I thought this car was done yesterday, I was backing it out of the shop and I had a pretty good vibration and the cat started to get red. And when the cat gets red and you got a vibe, you've got a missed spark somewhere. So I think it's pretty simple. I think one of my spark plug leads isn't quite seated on the distributor, and when I pulled the number 6 cylinder, it didn't change the way the motor was running at all. So more than likely that's the problem. Unfortunately, I got to take some of this stuff off to get to the distributor, so stay tuned. Alright, so as you can see, W pipe had to come off, throttle linkage, disconnect some of the harness. Mixture unit, I use bungees to kind of just get it out of the way enough to expose the distributor, which you can see back there. Pipe of agony's got to come out, intake, airbox. But this took me like 15 minutes. I like to use bungees on the struts to just kind of hold the mixture unit because I don't like taking the fuel lines apart if I don't have to. But you got to realize that you do stress some of the vacuum lines, and like I can already tell I knocked the distributor vacuum solenoid off, so I'll have to fix that. But when you put this all back together, if your motor doesn't start, it's because you knocked something loose back there. But I did find a spark plug lead that wasn't quite seated. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure each one of these plug wires is actually going to the right spot. And then I'm going to make sure that the plugs themselves are each sparking consistently with a good, nice, bright, clean spark. It's possible that I just fouled a plug or two when I was tuning the motor. So stay tuned. Alright, so as you can see, that is the number 6 plug. And it's a little sooted, dirty. This motor was super rich and the timing was off when we first got it running, so the plugs are a little foul. But I'm going to turn it over real quick and just make sure that we're getting a spark. You guys should be able to see that. Alright, there's the number 6 plug. Let's see if we get any spark. Alright, so here's a good indicator for you. On the left, we have the number 6 cylinder plug that was not running when I pulled it yesterday. And on the right we have the number 5 cylinder plug. Now they're both a little sooted because this car took a lot of dialing in to get the motor running properly, so it was running really rich for a little while. But you notice on the left that it's got significantly more soot on it and it hasn't really been firing. If you look at this one, the ceramic has signs of firing on it and this plug's actually got hot. This plug is just black. So this thing's probably not been running the whole time. And while I'm in here, I'm going to go get a new set of plugs and I'm just going to replace all 6 cylinders. Put all the leads back on, put the engine back together, and fingers crossed our problem's solved. Alright, I got some new plugs. I timed warped to the store and back. Gapped it to 2.4. I'm still going to double check that I'm getting spark on this cylinder, and then I'm going to repeat that on every cylinder. Alright, well hopefully you guys on camera saw a nice little spark. I gotta check. Pro tip, you guys want to make your lives a lot easier changing spark plugs on DeLoreans or some of these other classic cars with really hard plugs to change? Get yourself some flexible extensions. Can't put a lot of torque on them, but they're perfect for spark plugs. Here's some more free chicken for you. Even if plugs say they're pre-gapped to what you need, I've been burned before, so always check your plugs and re-gap if necessary. Secondly, get yourself a 5/8 or whatever size spark plugs you have. actual spark plug socket, feed it loosely with a flexible extension like this. Once you got the plug threaded smooth by hand, switch to a normal 5/8 socket and an extension, so you don't have to deal with your socket getting stuck way down in the bore on an engine that has spark plugs that are recessed in the cylinder head like this. And then thirdly, or lastly, or whatever the hell number I'm on, get yourself a pair of needle nose that are 90 degree, right? Until I come back, stay tuned. Another tip, when you have plugs that have a waterproof sock on them, or whatever you want to call them, pull that back so you can get to the actual plug lead, and make sure you get a solid click on the plug, and then use your needle nose pliers to push this rain cover down onto the plug. Because I've had what happens before from the factory with these rain covers, you'll push these down, they'll stop on the cylinder head, but your lead won't actually have a good connection on the spark plug. That's burned me before. Pro tip. Alrighty then. Okay, your spark plugs can tell you a lot about your motor and how it's running. Now we look at this, I've got them 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's not the firing order, that's just the cylinder order. And I can immediately see what plugs weren't firing properly. Cylinder 4 and cylinder 6. And well, that's all I have to say about that. It's time to put this motor back together. Oh, I'm probably blinding you with my stupid light. Okay, you can see me now. Okay, well, I know that every plug works. I've heard the old clicky clicky when I put the plug wires on the plugs. So now it's time to put this engine back together, which makes me happy because I wasn't happy to take it apart to begin with. So here we go. All right, this reminded me of something. You see this throttle shaft right here? This clip is a huge pain to put in when that mixture unit is down in there. So install this one first so that you can slide this little doohickey down under there and this thingamajigger here and hook it up. Because the number one thing that Jimmy's lost in the valley are stupid throttle C-clips. I haven't lost keys or money or anything, but they're just as annoying. Okay, some other things. Don't forget to connect this throttle body vacuum line before you put the mixture unit all the way down in there, because once you put this W pipe on, that's impossible to get to. Ask me how I know. Also, the agony of death. It's stupid easy. I don't know why people have so many problems with this, but put yourself a super bright light underneath the mixture unit, right? And then just push down your mixture unit. You should be able to see light coming through there. Now I can't because the actual pipe of agony is already in there, but it literally took me 30 seconds to do that. You can see that pipe sticking out the side down there, this copper color that I'm talking about. All right, meow. Now if I did my job properly, this thing's about to start up and run great. But that's about a 50-50% chance. Now, you go to start this thing and it doesn't start. Remember, golf balls like to go home. None of this stuff likes to leave its home, right? So make sure you don't have any fuel leaks after you start it. And if it doesn't start, you probably knocked the distributor vacuum advanced solenoid connector off, or this little guy right here, my personal favorite. If your car doesn't start, check that first. That's your ballast resistor for your ignition. Just give everything a once over. Make sure you connected your idle speed switch back up. Make sure you got your full throttle switch connected, your linkage is back on. Just give everything a quick safety check before you even try to start it, okay? Here we go. All right, meow, let me get you in. Let's see what happens. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, I always pull the RPM relay so I'm not pushing fuel through when I'm testing spark. I should have said that in the very beginning, but don't forget to turn it back on. Well, she's running. And our timing is definitely off. Looks like she's retarded, so I'll have to advance it a little bit, but I'm gonna do that after lunch. Until then, see you next time.